I warned my girlfriend that if she got tattoos we'd break up, and now that she's inked up, I've ended things with her, but she refuses to accept the termination of our relationship. I want to preface this with a disclaimer that there is nothing wrong with having tattoos if you want and like them. They aren't my thing. Please don't take this as a condemnation of tattoos or the people that get them as a whole. My ex and I were together about a year. Early on in the relationship she had mentioned wanting to get some tattoos. I told her she had every right to do so since it's her body, but I find tattoos very unattractive and I would likely break up if she went through with it. It became a small fight and she was cold and passive-aggressive about it for a few days, but eventually she said she understood and would not be getting the tattoos done. Fast forward to about 2 months ago and she makes another attempt to get me on board with tattoos. I reiterate my stance and tell her again she can do it, but I won't stick around if she does. I went out of town to visit my cousin for a week and come home to her with a partial sleeve done. Her arm was basically one big scab. I ask her what's going on and she just nonchalantly says her and her best friend had talked and agreed I was being unreasonable, so she went ahead and used my time out of town to get it done, so I wouldn't be around to be a buzzkill about it. She said she got as much as the guy was willing to do in one sitting inked, and once she was healed she planned to get it extended. The tattoo was already a deal breaker for me, but the blatant disrespect and casual way she was implying my opinion didn't matter, broke my feelings for her right there. We fought and eventually she just told me to get the hell out and locked herself in the bathroom. Thank God she did this when she did, because I was close to not renewing my lease at my apartment and moving in with her. Packed my stuff up and left while she crap talked me to her best friend on the phone. Dropped her stuff off from my place the next day. She told me I was making a huge mistake and throwing a good thing away for petty reasons. I just handed her the bag and left. That was weeks ago. Didn't hear from her until today. She called me. Here's a very brief summary of the call. Her: okay, the petty drama has run its course. You can move back in and move on, okay? Me: no, we are broken up. It's over permanently. I don't want to get back together. Her: we aren't getting back together. This was just a spat that got out of hand. You freaked out and left in a huff. I know you're just too proud to admit you're wrong, so we'll just call it even and you can come back. Me: no, I told you repeatedly that tattoos are a deal breaker. You did it anyway and then disrespected me on top of that with the way you went about it. We're done. You can move on now. Find a guy that finds your new ink attractive, because I find it repulsive and wouldn't be able to look at you or that arm again. Conversation goes in circles for a bit before I hang up. Then she tries sending me some nudes in an attempt to seduce me, but her body does nothing for me now and her sleeve was visible, which, even after it healed, was gross and unflattering. Told her I deleted them and to leave me alone. Blocked. She then messaged me on a snap saying she never agreed to a breakup and I owed her a conversation face to face if I wanted to end things. Blocked again. I know it's bad form to be a guy calling his ex crazy, but this girl is nuts. Edit: I find all the talk about me being shallow pretty funny, considering she told me that if I ever gained weight or stopped going to the gym she'd leave me. Hell, she put on weight throughout our entire relationship and it never once made me consider leaving her. I still found her beautiful. When she changed her hair color to colors that I didn't like, I never said a bad word to her about it. I was supportive. I didn't like it, but it wasn't a deal breaker. One last edit: this was great. Sub really is great for getting things off your chest, sub name and whatnot. Had a lot of fun reading responses, and while I didn't need validation to know what I did was right, I still appreciate the supportive folks. The negative ones accusing me of being shallow, controlling, weird, and all sorts of other things because I have a preference were fun too. Didn't change my mind one bit, but I'm glad you guys were able to get those things off your chests as well. Relevant comments. Comment 1. You two were just incompatible. Nothing wrong with breaking up over it. On to the next adventure. Response: could you please let her know she's supposed to be on a new adventure? She seems to think we're still on the old one. Comment 2. As someone who has tattoos and loves them, I fully support your stance on not finding them attractive. Not everybody does and you're absolutely not in the wrong for that. She, however, clearly did not care for your opinion in the first place. If she knew she wanted tattoos that bad, she absolutely should have ended the relationship when the topic first came up, instead of dragging you along and disregarding your feelings entirely. As for the breakup situation, breakups truly are not two-sided the vast majority of the time. You made the decision, and that's the end of it. She absolutely doesn't get to ask you for anything. You don't owe her anything. You don't owe her a face-to-face conversation. You don't owe her the opportunity to agree to break up or not. Because that's not how that works, lol. You did the right thing. Comment 3. This is a perfect example of boundaries. Boundaries are personal. They are for you, not to control your partner. You state them, like cheating is a boundary. They can still go sleep with someone, but it's your boundary and you determine the consequences. Like a breakup. Exact situation here. I don't like tattoos, I would prefer you not have them. You can still go get them, but it will be a turn off and I will end the relationship. She still got the tattoo, so zero controlling behavior, but he enforced his boundary of not wanting a partner with tattoos, so he ended the relationship. The point of dating is to determine compatibility. He found an incompatibility. Update. I came here a week ago to vent about a strange situation with my ex getting a tattoo and it resulting in us breaking up. Weeks later she acted like our breakup was just a spat and that I was being unreasonable. I told her we were broken up permanently and blocked her. She then tried to message me on other platforms demanding a face-to-face meeting because she never agreed to the breakup. In the end the tattoo was a secondary cause of our breakup in my mind. She disregarded what we'd spoken and agreed about early on in the relationship. When I didn't give her the supportive response she wanted, she proceeded to belittle me and insult me, then kicked me out of her home, which we were close to having me move into full time. Then she locked herself in the bathroom and loudly insulted me while on the phone with her best friend, whom had been the one to convince her to get the tattoo while I was out of town. At that point we were done. I took my stuff back to my place and brought her stuff from mine back to hers. She showed up at my place last night with a bag full of my bathroom stuff from her place. Just a bottle of body wash and a few other things. She asked to come in and talk, but I stepped outside and we talked out front where the cameras could see. She asked if I was really breaking up with her over a tattoo, and I reiterated that it was about more than the tattoo at this point. And that I wasn't breaking up with her. I already broke up with her weeks ago. She tried to argue with me that our relationship was stronger than that, but I told her that it wasn't. That while I was comfortable with her, this whole incident made me realize I wasn't happy with her. Her treating me poorly was the wake-up call. We both needed to go our separate ways and find people we could be truly happy with. She kept trying to argue that this was crazy and I was throwing a good thing away. I told her that I wish she'd just gotten the tattoo when we started dating. We could have broken up and just been friends. She said she'd considered it but decided she'd rather be with me than get the tattoo, so she lied to me when she said she was okay not getting one. Then when I went on my trip, her best friend convinced her to get it and claimed I'd get over it and stick around. Guy that did the first part of her sleeve was an old FWB of her friend and agreed to do it for a discount. Conversation sort of went in circles for a bit before she tossed the bag at me and left crying, yelling, "Fine, we're effing over then." So that's that. She showed up at my place like a lot of people predicted, but no stabby stabs or anything. Friends told me she made a bunch of vague posts about heartbreak on social media, but I haven't seen any of it. Regardless of how things went down, I hope she heals and finds herself someone who can be more supportive of her choices than I was. Thanks to those people who offered me support for my decision. And to everyone calling me shallow, controlling, and weird for my stance on tattoos, I gotta say I had a blast reading those comments. Absolutely hilarious.